Adjusting to living in prison is difficult. The stresses of normal life seem magnified in this environment, and merely the stress of change alone can seem like too much to endure. The incarcerated individual has limited control, few options, and their future seems more unpredictable. For many, suicide can seem like the answer to all their problems. But the idea that suicide solves problems is a tragic myth. Many other tragic myths surround the notion of suicide, and the purpose of this video is to not only help dispel them, but to give those who are contemplating suicide hope for a better tomorrow.
Like nobody really knew this guy, and just the effect of it on everybody in the wing, it was just real somber that day, real quiet. And the first thing that came to my mind is that, well, what would make me do something like that?
Sometimes you just get so tired of doing this day in and day out. You know, it makes you batshit crazy, you know? And when the day that I attempted suicide, that I was just done. I just lost the will to keep doing this.
Most suicidal acts represent carefully thought out strategies for coping with problems. Reasons can vary, but common ones can be illnesses, parole hearings, release dates, death of family or loved ones, financial instability, or fear of death or physical or sexual harm. Suicide rarely happens suddenly and with no warning. Another common myth is if someone has previously attempted suicide, they won't try it again. The sad fact of the matter is 65% of completed suicides have at least one previous attempt. Most everyone that attempts or commits suicide has exhibited some kind of warning signs, such as giving their property away, acting as if they feel better, or losing interest in things they usually enjoy, like talking to family or friends, or foregoing their usual routine behavior.
He was an Indian guy. I know I look it, but I'm not. And I remember I only knew how to say one word, one thing in not Indian, in their language. You call it Hindi. And Kihala, how you doing? That's all I know. And man, I remember the first time I think we were working up here at Restorative Justice, and I said Kihala. Oh man, he went crazy. Oh, you speak my language, you know, type of thing. and we just kicked it from there, you know.
I got into a fight with a person at work, and I beat him up pretty bad, you know. And he caught me that day at a downhill slide, you know. And I just snapped, man. I just got another setback, you know. And when I finally got to the hole and everything, I was down there, you know, and I was worrying about being charged with a major assault, you know. Had all kinds of thoughts going through my mind, you know. And I sat there thinking to myself, man, I cannot do any more time. I am done.
The crazy thing is that I didn't know a lot of the stuff that he was dealing with, because when he came around me, he wanted to be happy, you know.
I was worried about a family member dying on me before I got a chance to get out, my mother, you know. There's all kinds of thoughts that will be going through your head when you think about suicide. You know, you relive your past. You know, what you could have done different. How this time has affected you. You know, everything from just the piddly stuff that goes on every day in prison. You know, you could have a bad day with argument with a guard or an inmate.
And I just remember he went to the hole. I can't remember what for, and I just remembered hearing that he killed himself. And I think I wanted to be like hurt. I wanted to be upset. I wanted to be, just destroyed. But I found myself more confused than anything. And all of those feelings were there, but they didn't override the fact that I just didn't know why. I couldn't understand why he would do it.
It's everything. It's not just one thing when he attempts, when he gets to the point where you just give up. It's like being tired of prison, being tired of reliving the stuff that you go through every day from your crime. It's missing your kids, your family. You see, it's just like you just lose hope, and it's just hard to continue when you get to the point where you lose the will. It's just nothing in this world can help you.
Another tragic myth is that talking to someone about suicide will make them suicidal. The fact is just the opposite. Talk to that person. Listen to that person. You cannot make that person suicidal when you show an interest in their welfare by discussing the possibilities of suicide. If you believe they have been having suicidal thoughts, don't be afraid to ask that person, "Are you thinking about suicide?" Concerned, non-judgmental questions encouraging the person to discuss his or her ideas may help relieve the psychological pressure. It's important to remember that most suicidal people have mixed feelings about killing themselves. They are doubtful about living, not intent on dying.
There's been many guys that have committed suicide in prison, and you think about what you could have done to help them get past that, either talking to them, kind of give them some moral support, talking about the things that you've been through, get them to try to bring back that hope, the will to keep doing this.
In some shape, form, or fashion, you can talk to people. If you see them down a little bit, just say, "Hey, what's going on? What's wrong?" Because it can alter whatever immediate future they might be about to have, rather. Because words are pretty important, I think, to us.
My brother told me one time while I was on a visit at the very, very end of this whole thing when it all happened. He told me, he goes, "Bro," he said, "Man, I love you with all my heart." He says, "Do not make me spend the rest of my life without you." And that hit me. That hurt.
The people that felt that you were worth something, that felt that you had a purpose and had love for you and wanted you to be something, or do something with your life or be something in life, they get hurt the most. They literally have to pick up the pieces. Your family has to pay for the cost of all of those things, not just emotionally, but financially and things as well. And
Suicide does not end the chances of life getting worse. It eliminates the possibility of it ever getting better, even in a place like prison. The effects of suicide extend far beyond the individual. Loved ones, friends, family, and even staff members are affected by the act of suicide. If you suspect someone you know is contemplating suicide, you can give them some sense of hope. If you yourself are contemplating suicide, there are staff and other men who care and are more than willing to talk about how you are feeling. Chances are they have felt similarly at some point in their lives, but have managed to go on.